Chapter 7. The entire rest of the day, Vega got the silent treatment from Ella, and everybody noticed. Katie went up to Vega as they made their way to gym class. "What did you say to Ella?" she asked. "Whoa, you are totally getting frozen out." That was a good way to describe it, Vega thought. There was a definite chill in the air anytime Ella was around. Vega didn't know what to do. Her countdown clock told her she had 21 star hours to grant the wish. She felt like a failure. She was definitely the first star darling whose wisher wouldn't acknowledge her existence. In the locker room, Vega was handed a uniform that was tight in the places it should have been baggy, and baggy in the places it should have been tight. "Oh, boy," Katie said when Vega walked into the gym. "That's unfortunate." Vega shrugged. She had way bigger problems than an ill-fitting gym uniform. "Do you think we'll play lodgeball?" she asked Katie, remembering the game that Sage had told her about witnessing her wisher play during her mission. "Maybe Ella and I will be on the same team." Katie chortled. "Oh, Vega, you're so funny," she said. "And it's not just that ridiculous uniform. Lodgeball!" The gym teacher stood in front of the room, a whistle around her neck. "Today we start our lessons in square dancing," she announced. Up went a chorus of groans, which the gym teacher ignored. "Square dancing is a type of folk dance," she went on. "Please break up into groups of 8 and form a square. 2 partners on each side." Katie grabbed Vega's hand, and together they formed one side of a square. Vega noticed with disappointment that Ella positioned herself as far away from Vega as she could, while still remaining in the gymnasium. She shook her head. How was she going to fix this? Vega turned to Katie. "What's so bad about square dancing?" she asked. "You'll see," replied Katie grimly. But Vega didn't see. It turned out she absolutely loved square dancing. It might have been the orderly way everyone moved. It might have been the sheer novelty of it. Or it might have been the opportunity she had to promenade, do-si-do, and swing with 7 different people. Because every time she promenaded, do-si-do'd, swung her partner, or alamanded, she got to chat with someone else. "So, tell me about Ella," she said under her breath, as she promenaded with a curly-headed girl named Grace. "Oh, she's nice," Grace said. "She's got great style." When Vega bowed to her side, she asked a blonde girl, "Have you ever been to Ella's house?" "Never," was the answer. "She never invites anyone over." She lowered her voice. "I think it must be because her mom has some secret designs lying around the house or something. The fashion industry can be cutthroat." "Now everybody swing," called the teacher, and Vega found out about every trend Ella had started as she linked arms and swung around with each dancer. Arm warmers, cat eye glasses, 2 different colored socks, mismatched earrings, paint-speckled shoes. "This," said a girl, holding up a necklace with a brightly painted key on it. "We all wear them now, just like Ella," she explained. Just then, a shiver went down Vega's spine, and her skin began to tingle. It was subtle, but it had to be a sign, didn't it? She turned to grin at Ella across the gym, who glowered back at her. Did she know Vega was talking about her? Vega was pretty sure she had figured out what Ella's lie was. Now she just had to talk to Ella and convince the other girl to let her help fix it. This was going to be a piece of pie. She smiled smugly, mentally congratulating herself for remembering the wishling phrase that Sage had shared with everyone. Back in the classroom, Vega received an unexpected opportunity from Ms. McKenney. Class, the teacher announced, I want you to pair up to do your writing homework tonight. Your assignment is to interview a classmate with these questions. She held up a sheaf of papers and began handing them out. Katie, you're paired with Ivy, she said. Jill and Maya, please take turns interviewing each other. Vega saw her chance. She closed her eyes and concentrated. This was going to take an awful lot of her wish energy reserve, so she hoped it would work. Ella, you are paired with Lu. She clearly wanted to say a particular name, but it wouldn't come out. Vega, she finally said. It had worked. The grin on Vega's face was as intense as Ella's grimace. Maybe even more so. Vega leaned her back against the locker next to Ella's. Ella was aggressively shoving books into her backpack and trying to ignore Vega. But the starling was fully determined to use this opportunity to her advantage. So, shall we head to your house? Vega suggested hopefully. Ella looked up suddenly, and Vega saw a flash of something in her eyes. Anger, or could it be panic? But the girl smoothly said, Oh, they're polishing our marble entryway today. Let's go to your house instead. Vega actually did panic. Can't, was all she managed to say. Ella had the good grace not to laugh at Vega's awkwardness. Okay, then, let's go to the lunchbox, she said, narrowing her eyes at Vega. Let's get this over with. The two girls left the school in silence and headed down the steps together. Ella led Vega down the block to a friendly little coffee shop with cozy booths and a counter with funny round seats that appeared to be bolted to the floor. The two girls settled into a booth. Ella started rummaging through her bag. She pulled out a mirror, a wallet, and a small paperback book before she found what she was looking for. A notebook and a purple pen. Vega stared at the book. Is that a book of crosswords? She asked excitedly. It is, said Ella. I do them on the subway. Then she got a horrified look on her face and barked out a laugh. That was a joke. As if I ever take the subway. I do it in the car when my driver takes me to school. What's the subway? Asked Vega. Starf, she thought. Maybe she'll realize I'm not a wishling. But Ella grinned and reached over to give her a friendly punch in the arm. Right? Nobody who goes to George Robert Prep actually takes the subway. Ella picked up a menu and began flipping through it. I'm getting a hot fudge sundae with chocolate ice cream, she said decidedly. The menu was so thick and jam-packed with unfamiliar food choices that Vega didn't know where to begin. Chops, specials, breakfast served all day. What in the world was a jelly omelet? Or a gyro? Vega was totally overwhelmed, so she simply said, Me too. She hoped she would like it. Shortly afterward, she discovered that she most certainly did. The sundae, a tantalizing mountain of round scoops of brown, slathered with a thick dark brown sauce, was placed in front of her. A fluffy crown of white and a bright red fruit with a stem sat on top. It looked amazing. Vega licked her lips in anticipation. Let's dig in, said Ella, brandishing a long spoon. The sundae was simply perfection in a chilly metal cup, a lip-smackingly delicious combination of creamy, sweet coldness and warm goodness in every bite. The white, fluffy cream was sweet and as light as air. Vega was in heaven. She made a mental note. Bring a hot fudge sundae home for Tessa. While they ate, Vega pulled the list of questions out of her backpack. She gave the stuffed blue star keychain a squeeze for luck. Do you mind if I go first? She asked Ella. Shoot, said Ella. What? Asked Vega, totally confused. Ella laughed. Go ahead. What is your greatest joy? Vega asked her. Ella bit her lip and stared into space. I guess it's being creative, she said slowly. Like, I'll show up for school in paint-splattered shoes or 2 different colored socks, and the day after one girl is doing it, and then the next week it's 5 girls, and soon it's a trend in the entire school. Even the older girls are copying my style. Vega wrote that all down. It was fun to write in a paper notebook with a writing utensil. Very old-fashioned and extremely satisfying. What is your biggest dream for the future? Was the next question. Vega looked up. Ella's cheeks were flushed and she looked excited. It was the first time Vega had seen her look relaxed and unguarded. I'm going to be a fashion designer, she said. I'm going to create new fashions that no one has ever seen before. I'm going to come up with something people will be talking about forever, like the jumpsuit or the maxi dress. Just like your mom, said Vega. Ella looked away. Yeah, just like my mom. And, last but not least, what is your biggest fear? Ella stared into the distance. She opened her mouth, then closed it. My biggest fear is that everyone... Vega leaned forward. Yes? That everyone... She thought for a moment and frowned. That everyone... won't like my fashions, she concluded. That's it? Asked Vega. That's it, Ella said firmly. Now your turn. Vega, with some creative thinking and some serious self-editing, was able to answer the questions. She spoke about her dream of being a top student and her love of puzzles of all kinds. And all of a sudden, she found herself explaining that her biggest fear was not making her mother proud of her after she had worked so hard to provide for Vega. She had never put those thoughts into words, and she grew teary as she said them. When she looked up, she saw that Ella looked a bit tearful too. The 2 girls smiled at each other. That was great, said Ella. I really learned a lot about you today. Me too, said Vega. You're a really interesting person. Ella checked her watch. All right, well, I guess I had better go, she said reluctantly. Oh, is your driver waiting? Vega asked. Ella got a funny look on her face, then nodded. Yes, my driver is waiting. That's right. She grabbed the key pendant that hung around her neck, as if she was checking that it was there. It's now or never, Vega thought. I know what your lie is, she blurted out. Ella bit her lip. You do? She didn't look angry anymore, just sad and embarrassed. Your mom isn't really in Paris, Vega said. Ella nodded. She looked ashamed, but almost relieved. You don't want her to come in for Bring Your Parents to School Day because you don't want the other girls to pester her into making them fashions. You want to keep her creations all to yourself, Vega concluded. Ella stared at Vega, who sat back in the booth, feeling triumphant. Then Ella stood up. You couldn't have it any more wrong if you tried, she said. She threw some money on the table and stormed out of the coffee shop, the bell over the door tinkling cheerfully and adding a merry note to a decidedly unpleasant parting. Vega watched her go, her heart sinking. She suddenly felt tired and cranky. She decided she would head to the school roof, where she would pitch her invisible tent. She glanced at her stars app and accessed the countdown clock. 19 star hours and counting. Starf. She was running out of time. If she didn't have Ella's wish granted by the next day at noon, Leona wasn't going to be the only star darling who didn't collect any wish energy.